Have you ever watched a movie about mental illness and wondered if it was portraying the illness, its development, and treatment correctly? With so many videos and mixed information on the internet, it's hard to get an accurate idea of what a disorder is really like. Hi, I'm Angela Ketla, and I'm a psychology major at Mendocino College. Today, I'm going to do a film critique for you for my abnormal psychology course 218. The film I'm going to walk you through is based on a true story about a popular stripper in the 1970s who has a dissociative identity disorder. Frankie and Alice is a 2010 film directed by Jeffrey Sachs, starring Halle Berry, who plays Frankie. Early in the film, they show Frankie displaying amnesia when she doesn't remember doing a crossword, and she even states that it wasn't her handwriting. You can notice the uneasy feeling Frankie gets when looking at the crossword, but she quickly pushes those feelings away and self medicates using alcohol for its dissociative properties. Individuals with dissociative identity disorder frequently have current or past history of substance abuse disorders. The first appearance of a personality was when a baby toy in the house of a casual hookup triggers an extremely racist and protective personality, also known as an alter, named Alice. A majority of individuals with DID will have symptoms that meet the diagnostic criteria for comorbid PTSD because of the traumatic event that caused the alter to form. This scene did an accurate job of portraying how the baby toy triggered an emotion attached to a memory that the alter, Alice, was protecting Frankie from, causing Alice to appear and get Frankie away from the danger, which in this case was the baby toy. Frankie, as alter Alice, gets scared when the DJ she was hooking up with before the trigger puts his hands on her shoulder to calm her down. As a fear based response, Alice breaks a pitcher over the DJ's head and, in a very distraught state, she flees the apartment to lay in a dissociated state in the middle of the street. This scene does display a possible response to a scary situation. While people with dissociative identity disorder are popularly stigmatized as being violent or serial killers, individuals with DID don't go looking for violence, but rather have a heightened fight or flight response. And we know that stressful situations switch the alter, whose job is to protect the host. The toy triggered a memory that triggered a switch to Alice. Alice, in a protective fear response, hit the DJ over the head in an attempt to successfully flee the scene. Upon successfully fleeing the scene, Alice went back inside, leaving Frankie exhausted, dissociated, with no memory of what had happened, lying in the street. It is common for a host or primary personality to feel drained or have a headache after a switch. Because Frankie was laying in the street, the cops were called. She was placed on a 24-hour hold in a psychiatric hospital where she met Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz could tell that Frankie had something going on, noticing early on that she had gaps in her memory. He spoke with the lead practitioner about keeping her for more tests, but was denied because she was not a danger to herself, others, or gravely disabled. Studies show the prevalence of DID to be similar to the prevalence of schizophrenia. But because most alters are able to function normally in society, they don't raise a whole bunch of red flags and often go unnoticed. The alter's job is to hide and protect. They hide a traumatic memory, they protect the host from experiencing it. The host often has no idea that there are other personalities at all. And while some alters are aware of the host, some are not. In Frankie's case, both alters were aware of Frankie, but Frankie was unaware of them. After Alice's unwanted appearance at an old childhood friend's wedding, Frankie was once again taken to jail. Because of her history, she was told that she would be released if she checked herself into a psychiatric hospital. She reached out to Dr. Oz and agreed to do a 30-day minimum hold. While doing Frankie's intake, Dr. Oz notices old medical records with Frankie displaying different eyesight, handwriting, and even IQ scores. And while checking eye impulse reaction, Dr. Oz triggers Alice to appear. The whole scene provides accurate insight, typically seen in a person with DID. It is common for each personality to have different characteristics, such as handwriting, IQ, and yes, even eyesight or other physical illnesses.
That's just cigarettes.
I don't ever smoke, doctor.
After noticing that the light triggered Alice, Dr. Oz started to use a light sedation and light hypnosis to non aggressively provoke the appearance of both personalities. Studies do show that light sensitivity is a symptom of dissociative disorders, and hypnotherapy is a useful tool to help spread awareness among the host and the alters. Although there's a lot of controversy with this technique because of the powerful suggestion and the recorded responses associated with it. Dr. Oz is shown talking about the absence of suggestion with his colleague, shedding an accurate light on this very real issue. After Dr. Oz tells Frankie that she has DID, they set on a path to integrate her personalities into one personality. For Frankie, she only had herself and two others. But while 2 to 4 personalities are average for the initial diagnosis, the average number of personalities in someone with DID is 13 to 15 over the course of treatment. Overall, I think Frankie and Alice was a thorough and accurate portrayal of dissociative identity disorder. And while studies and information are limited and each case is unique, this film did a great job displaying the illness, development, and treatment. Thank you, and I hope you all enjoyed my breakdown of Frankie and Alice.